When I turned 82, I thought I had life figured out. But there's one decision I regret more than anything else: moving into a nursing home. At the time, I believed I was making the right choice. My family assured me it would be the perfect place, where I'd be well taken care of and enjoy my later years in comfort. I trusted them. But the moment the doors of the nursing home closed behind me, I realized things weren't what I had imagined. I know you might be considering this too, either for yourself or a loved one. Maybe it seems like a logical, safe decision. But before you make that choice, I want to share 6 important things I wish I had known earlier. Because moving into a nursing home isn't just about changing where you live. It's a life-altering decision that's much harder to reverse than you might think. So, watch this video until the end, because what I'm about to share may surprise you. And if you know someone who's thinking about moving into a nursing home, share this video with them. Because sometimes, just a little bit of knowledge can help someone avoid a lifelong mistake. Now, let's get started. Regret, Part 1. Losing my independence. The biggest shock. Moving into a nursing home isn't just about adjusting to a new place, following a set schedule, or getting used to unfamiliar faces. The hardest part is realizing that I am no longer in control of my own life. Before, I made my own choices. I woke up when I wanted, ate when I was hungry, took a walk whenever I pleased, and enjoyed peaceful moments in my favorite chair with a book in hand. But the moment I entered the nursing home, I quickly realized that my daily rhythm was no longer mine to decide. Breakfast was served at a fixed time, even if I wasn't hungry. The lights went out at a certain hour, whether I was ready for bed or not. Even stepping outside for fresh air required permission, and sometimes I had to wait until someone was available to assist me. Simple choices like what to eat or what to wear, things that once felt like basic rights, suddenly became rare privileges. I remember my first morning there. I woke up in an unfamiliar bed, stretched as usual, and reached for my favorite book. But as I looked around, reality sank in. This wasn't my home. The books I cherished, the chair I had spent years resting in, the little belongings I had collected over a lifetime, none of them were here. Instead, I was surrounded by plain white walls, a bed I never chose, and an overwhelming feeling that I was no longer in control of my own life. The hardest part? Once you lose your independence, getting it back is nearly impossible. You learn to adapt. You stop questioning when they decide your dinner for you. You no longer ask if you can go outside. You adjust to the system's rhythm. And in that process, you slowly lose a part of yourself. If you're considering moving into a nursing home, ask yourself, are you truly ready to give up those small but precious freedoms? Because once they're gone, you'll miss them more than you ever imagined. Regret number 2. The feeling of being forgotten. When I decided to move into a nursing home, I thought the hardest part would be leaving my familiar home or changing my daily routine. But it wasn't. What truly broke my heart was the slow realization that I was being forgotten. At first, everything seemed fine. My family promised to visit often, and they did, for a while. My daughter came by every week. My grandchildren visited on weekends, bringing stories and laughter. I still felt like I was a part of their world. But then, time passed. The visits became less frequent. In-person meetings turned into rushed phone calls. My grandkids got busy with school and work. And during the holidays, the days I looked forward to the most, I received promises that they would come, only for plans to change at the last minute. I remember one evening, sitting in my room, holding my phone, hesitating whether to call my son. I was afraid of interrupting him. I didn't want to be a burden or make anyone feel guilty. In the end, I put the phone down and realized this was my life now, waiting for a message, a call, or a hug that might never come. It's not that my family stopped loving me, but when you're no longer there every day, life moves on without you. And it's easy for people to assume you're fine, that you've adjusted. But the truth is, You never truly get used to the feeling of being forgotten. If you're considering a nursing home, ask yourself, are you ready to face loneliness? Because no matter how much your family loves you, once you're no longer near them, you may be forgotten faster than you ever expected. If you're still watching and find these insights valuable, leave a number 2 in the comments to let me know you're here. And if you haven't subscribed yet, hit that subscribe button and turn on notifications so you don't miss any future videos. Let's continue this journey together. Regret number 3. Losing a sense of purpose. When I moved into a nursing home, I thought I was just changing where I lived. But I soon realized I was giving up something far more important, the reason to wake up each morning. Before, my days had meaning, no matter how small. I took care of my home, made a fresh cup of coffee each morning, watered the garden, or simply rearranged my bookshelf. These little routines made me feel useful, like I was still in control of my own life. But in the nursing home, everything changed. Meals were prepared for me. My room was cleaned by someone else. Even something as simple as making a cup of tea was no longer my choice. At first, I thought this was great. No more chores, no more responsibilities, just relaxation. But then I realized my days were slipping by, empty and without purpose. I looked around and saw I wasn't alone in feeling this way. George, an 84-year-old man who had been a carpenter all his life, once built and repaired everything in his wood shop. But here, no tools, no projects, nothing to create. I watched as his once strong hands rested idly on his lap. "I don't do anything anymore," he told me one day, and I knew exactly how he felt. When you have nothing to take care of, nothing to look forward to, life starts to fade, your mind slows, your body follows, and before long, you become just another name on a list of residents in a place where the days pass, but nothing really changes. So if you're considering moving into a nursing home, ask yourself, what gives your life meaning? Because once you lose your sense of purpose, finding it again isn't just about filling time, it's about reclaiming yourself. Regret number 4, declining health. Faster than expected. Before moving into a nursing home, I was still in control of my body. I wasn't an athlete, but I could walk on my own, cook my own meals, and maintain small habits that kept me active. A few morning stretches, a walk around the house, a trip to the store. These simple things helped me stay strong and independent. But after moving into the nursing home, everything started to change. At first, I thought it was wonderful to have meals brought to me, to not have to stand in the kitchen or worry about cleaning up. If I needed something, I could just press a button and someone would come to help. What I didn't realize was that the less I did, the more I lost my ability to care for myself. I moved less. The steady steps I once took became slower, less confident. I spent more time sitting, and before long, even standing up from a chair became a challenge. The muscles I had worked so hard to maintain weakened faster than I ever imagined. And I wasn't the only one. I saw other residents gradually lose their mobility too. People who once walked with ease started relying on walkers, then wheelchairs. I remember Alice, an 81-year-old woman who was full of energy when she first arrived. Every day, she took walks around the facility and always said she wouldn't let age slow her down. But within months, she walked less and less. Then she needed a walker, then a wheelchair. One day she looked at me and said, "I don't know what happened, but I feel like I've aged 10 years in just a few months." And I knew exactly how she felt. When you stop using your body, you start losing it. Nursing homes are designed to make things easier for you, but that very convenience makes you forget that movement isn't just an option. It's a necessity for staying alive and well. If I had known how quickly my body would decline, I would have pushed myself harder to stay active, even when I didn't feel like it. So if you're considering moving into a nursing home, ask yourself, are you ready to keep moving when everything around you is set up so you don't have to? Because once you slow down, getting back up isn't as easy as you might think. If you're still watching and find these insights valuable, leave a number 4 in the comments so I know you're here. And if you haven't subscribed yet, hit subscribe and turn on notifications so you don't miss any future videos. Your support helps us continue sharing meaningful stories that inform and inspire. Now, let's keep going on this journey together. Regret number 5, losing privacy and dignity. When I decided to move into a nursing home, I thought about many things: convenience, safety, and care. But there was one thing I hadn't anticipated: how much privacy and dignity I would have to give up. At home, I had my own space. If I wanted peace and quiet, I simply closed my bedroom door. I could decide when to bathe, when to eat, and when to rest. But in a nursing home, privacy suddenly became a luxury. From the very first day, I felt like I was always being watched. Staff came in and out of my room on schedule, checking things, sometimes without waiting for my permission before stepping inside. I understood they were just doing their jobs, but it was hard to accept that the most personal aspects of my life, getting dressed, bathing, or even just sitting alone to reflect, now required someone else's assistance. I remember struggling with this feeling during my first week. Before, if I wanted to shower, I simply did it. But here, I had to wait until someone was available to help. Needed to use the bathroom? Pressing the call button could mean waiting longer than I'd like. Even something as simple as eating was no longer my choice. If I didn't like the meal of the day, I could either eat it or go hungry. And then, there's the matter of roommates. Not everyone gets a private room, and sharing a space with a stranger, someone you didn't choose, can be a major challenge. I was lucky to have a pleasant roommate, but not everyone is so fortunate. I've heard stories of people living with roommates who were noisy, messy, or even struggling with cognitive issues, making it difficult to get a good night's sleep. No matter how much you try to make your room feel like home, it never truly belongs to you. Self-respect is something that, once lost, is incredibly hard to regain. And I didn't realize how much of it I would have to give up until I was already here. When someone enters your room without waiting for your approval. When you're spoken to like a patient rather than a person with the right to make decisions about your own life. When your daily routines are dictated by a schedule you didn't create. These things slowly change you. You start feeling less like yourself, less like an individual, and more like just another name on a list, a part of the system rather than a person with independence. So, if you're considering moving into a nursing home, ask yourself, are you truly ready to give up the privacy and control you've had for so many years? Because once you lose it, getting it back is not easy. Regret number 6, realizing that leaving is harder than you think. When I first moved into a nursing home, I told myself, this is only temporary. I thought I could give it a try. If I didn't like it, I could always go back home. But what I didn't anticipate was, leaving wouldn't be as simple as I had imagined. At first, I believed all it took was a decision. If this place didn't feel right, I would just return home. But then I realized, home was no longer the same. During my absence, everything had changed. My house felt empty, and managing it from afar wasn't easy. My children had already started making adjustments, selling things they thought I wouldn't need, even considering renting out the place. When I told them I wanted to go back, their first reaction was, "Are you sure, Mom? Do you think you can manage on your own? Staying here might be safer." They said they only wanted what was best for me, but the truth was, no one really expected me to return. And then, I realized something else. I was no longer the same. After months of not cooking, cleaning, or even walking long distances, my body had weakened. The independence I once had was slipping away, and the thought of living alone suddenly felt more frightening than ever. I've met others who thought just like me, that they were only trying out a nursing home for a short time. But as the days passed, they slowly realized that leaving wouldn't be as easy as they had imagined. The longer you stay, the harder it becomes to adjust to life outside. Some people don't even have a choice. Their homes have been sold, or their savings have been drained by the cost of care. There's no way back. This is something no one tells you. When you move in, it seems like a decision you can undo. But for most people, it's not. The nursing home gradually becomes your whole world. And before you know it, the life you once had, the place that was your home, becomes nothing more than a distant memory. So, if you're considering moving into a nursing home, ask yourself, are you truly prepared for the possibility that once you enter, leaving will be far more difficult than you expect? Because once you settle in, the obstacles, financial, physical, and emotional, will only grow harder to overcome. Looking back, what I wish I had known sooner. Growing older has never been something I regret. But what I do regret is believing that a nursing home was my only option. I walked in hoping for comfort, safety, and a better quality of life. But what I found instead was an environment that gradually took away my independence, my privacy, my sense of purpose, and even my personal identity. Does that mean all nursing homes are bad? Not necessarily. Some people truly need the level of care these places provide, but before making this decision, you must understand that it's not just about changing where you live, it's about changing how you live. Once you move in, life will never be the same. If I could do it all over again, I would hold on to my independence for as long as possible, explore alternative ways to get the support I need without giving up my freedom, and only make this choice when absolutely necessary. If you're considering moving into a nursing home, ask yourself, is this truly the best option for you, or just the easiest one right now? Because your life, with its routines, autonomy, and freedom, is worth protecting until the very last moment. Thank you for watching. I would love to hear your thoughts. Leave a comment about what resonated with you the most, and how you plan to apply it to your life. Your feedback motivates us to continue creating meaningful content. If you found this video helpful, please like, subscribe, and share so that more people can benefit from this important information. Thank you, and I'll see you in the next video.